Hi everyone, welcome back to KW Ross Patterns. In this tutorial today, I am going to show you how to make the pattern of a few wrap skirts. I'm going to first discuss about the wrap skirts. So I have here 4 basic types of wrap skirts that I'm going to discuss. So wrap skirts is really just a skirt that wraps around the body, and it usually comes with a tie, or it comes with buttons and buttonholes, or it could come with a snap underneath and a button on the outside. Now there's a basic wrap skirt. You can have the end of it, the hem of it, curve with the button and another button on the bodice, not the bodice, the skirt part of the skirt. That's optional. You could just have the one button at the waistband. This has a base waistband. This doesn't have a waistband. It has a tie, and the tie is attached at the side seam and also at the side front of the other overlapping part. So the wrap skirt really like wraps the body. You'll have the underpiece that extends. Underpiece would extend close to the side seam, but not at the side seam. Now you have the hem area is straight as opposed to it being curved. And then you have the next one is asymmetric, no waistband. You can use a snap, or you can also use a hook and eye there. And I have a demonstration to show you of what this one is like. I also have it where this is it. All right, I made this one, and I also got creative and I had the look of the waistband at the hem with the loops for the belting. So that's another version. Here it had the hook and eye, or sorry, actually it was a snap underneath, and then the button was attached on the outside. All right, so and then there's the other type. This is the other type, right? This is the asymmetric both ways at the waist seam area and also at the hem. And this I had featured on my Instagram page. This one in particular has a pocket. It's optional, you don't have to have a pocket, but if you notice here, the underpiece that wraps, it stops right here a little bit away from the side seam, and then the front part that is shown is asymmetric and it has a tie there. So these are the different types. All right, so I'm going to get into the pattern making of it all. Now, first thing I would say to you is that you have the regular center back of the skirt, sorry, the regular back of the skirt that you would have traced out, and you trace out the regular back of your skirt. Remember, this is a skirt sloper. It has the seam allowances here, as opposed to a skirt pattern. It has the seam allowances here as opposed to a sloper, and you trace it out, and this is your, you put this on the folded fabric that is the back. All right, you have your dart here. Now, what I'll do now, I'll suggest for you when you are doing the skirt is to plan it out. Please plan it out, okay? That would help a lot. So if you're planning it out, so this is the front, right? You place it on the fold here, right, of the fabric. And I'm going to trace around this. Now this is regular skirt front pattern. And yes, this is the one that has the seam allowances already there, right? Okay, seam allowances is there. So this is, so now you're going to plan this out. So the way you plan this out is that you can first look at this one that you have. And remember now, if you have the darts, what I could suggest that you do, you can keep the dart, because you're going to need it on one side of the skirt pattern for the front. And I'll say that you can go from the tip of the dart, and you have a line that's coming down straight. Make sure it's going to be straight. All right. And you can curve this. All right. So you can curve this. All right. And as I said before, you can curve it or you can keep it straight. That's up to you, your preference. So this would be for this, the plain one. And also, even if you have the one with the tie, it is fine. You can use that. If you want to go further and not have it exactly there, it is your choice. So for that one, if you want to go further, you can have it. And in this case, if you have this one that is curved, you can go straight up and just forget about half of the side, half of the dart. You can also have the line which is going closer to this side seam, but do not go exactly at the side seam. Closer to the side seam is much better, and you can keep it straight. Okay, so that would be this one. Now for the asymmetric one here without the waistband, what I'll suggest that you do for that one, you can plan it out. All right, plan it out. If you're gonna go here, right, closer to the side seam, right, and then when you go closer to the side seam, you can dip it a little bit. So you can plan it out and dip a little bit here. 3 inches or so is good enough. You don't have to get too dramatic. Do not dip it. You can, I mean, if you dip it at the center front, then you'll have space at the front when you walk. But if you want it just to be like on the side front, then yes, go away from there a little bit. All right, and you connect your line like this, and this would be you dipping it. All right, obviously when you're planning it out now, but when you open the pattern to make it out, it would be, this line would be adjusted a little bit. And for the one with the drop at the waist area, you're just planning it out, and you're going to have it come from a little bit below that in a sense, because when you are connecting to the side seam, it needs to be dropped a little bit, and you just drop it like this. Okay, so planning it out is the key, and once you plan it out, then you can go from there and start making the pattern for the various types. Okay, so just look at that. Now in terms of making the pattern now, all you need to do, right, this is the one with the, let's cut this off because you're going to need it as your guide in planning. Because what you need literally is you're going to need, just plan it out, make sure it's on the straight. Okay, line up your mark, the marks on your dotted paper, and you can trace. All right, so that's the front. Okay, this is the front. And then what I suggest you do now, in order to get the other piece, because this is coming from the side seam, this is the center front, and you have your dart. Oops, I didn't keep my dart. Please don't make that mistake. Keep your dart. The tip of your dart is very important. You're going to need it. Okay. All right, so now what you have to do is place this underneath, and because I just need, I'm going to show you, you can line this up to make sure you get it too. All right, so have this like this. Okay, you just need to that area, because remember I'm using this line underneath here. All right, so I am going to now just trace this. All right, you already have it on your paper. All right, and because you're getting rid of the dart there, I would just go straight right here. Okay, and this would where, and then you add your seam allowance here, which is say you can do 1/2 inch or 1 inch, and you need to, or you can do a facing, do 1/2 inch and then add a facing. It's your preference if you're going to line this skirt or not. It's your desired. All right, and then for that one, you just have a a button and buttonhole for here. And remember, you're going to add your waistband. Your waistband, if you, whatever the waist, you have to measure, because it's a wrap skirt, obviously it's going to be more than your waistband. Do the measurements on there, and that length plus an inch and a half for the turn under when you are finishing the wrap skirt, and divide it by, times the width of that wrap skirt. The waistband should be literally 3.5 inches, because the typical waistband is 1.25 inches. So times that by 2 is 2.5, and then the half inch seam allowance on each side. So this is for the first one, okay? So that's the first part. That's what that looks like. And as I said, for the second type, where we go over here, it's just you going to this end of this skirt here, this end. And once you go to this end, you just trace it the same way, and you create two straps for the ties, all right, to tie the skirt right there. Now for the asymmetric one, now with the asymmetric one, what you'll do again, you still need to trace out the front of the skirt. All right, so you trace the front of the skirt now. All right. And you can just trace the other part, line it up like that. All right. Well, remember with this one now, don't forget again, you need the tip of the dart here. So make sure you have the tip of the dart right there. And that's your dart. Right there, this is the tip of the dart. And for this one over here, you can keep your dart, or you can decide not to keep the dart. It's your preference. All right. In some cases, I like to keep the dart, or you can just remove the dart. It's up to you. All right. So for this one, I'm going to show you a little trick also. So now you're planning it out, and you're placing this there. You want to make sure you have it. Okay. And remember now, we're using that line. So I'm going to form that line right now. So I'm going to form this line. Okay. And this is the one that goes to the waistband, as I stated, and it's going to have the dip right here. So what you can continue tracing this and use the same, keep the dart, as I stated before, keep the dart, right? And because this is the one that we're going to have the button and buttonhole, right? It's the same one that I showed you before. I'm just going to refresh your memory on that one. This one, okay? Right, that's the one that we're going to deal with. All right, and then because you're dipping here, yes, when I was planning it out, I went to here, but it's best if you don't go to the center front. You go a little bit past the center front and start angling it down. All right, this is good enough. A little bit past the center front, start angling it down. All right, so this is the pattern for that. And the under piece is just the same. For the under piece, you can cut this ×2 fabric and use this as your green line, the center front as your green line. All right, as your green line. So that's the pattern for that piece. Now let's do the next piece. Okay, so the last one now that we're going to deal with is this one, asymmetric from the waist and also at the hem area. So first again, I am going to trace my my center front. So I'm going to trace my center front here. Okay, it's great when you're using the dotted paper, because you can use the numbers or the letters on your dotted paper as a guide. to get your straight line. Otherwise, you just draw a straight line and then work from there. Okay, and don't forget, you keep your pattern, your tip of the dart. You have to have your tip of the dart. Okay, and I'm gonna trace this also, or you can just fold fold it, the paper. It's your preference. All right. So the tip of the dart is here. This is the tip of the dart, or the end of the dart for the other side. Now this also, you need two pieces, but the difference with this as opposed to the others where would you do two times through the fabric is that one is asymmetric at the waist and the other side is not asymmetric, so it is plain, so you have to be careful there. All right, so next thing I do on this paper that you had planned everything out, I'm gonna line this up with it. So I'm lining this up. Okay, make sure you line it up properly. And when you line it up, then you know that you're still gonna follow what you have planned out on your first line. Okay, and I'm going to follow, because remember we did a dip on by the waist area right here. So what I suggest for you to do, you can plan this out. So what I'm going to do first, I need my mark here, but I have a dart here, so I'm going to close my dart, and I want this to go a little bit like from here, start from here. So I'm not going to mark it now, but for the hem, in terms of the hem, we apply the same concept, and we simply get our line like this. Okay, so we have that. Now watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to, fullness goes to the front. Okay, fullness to the center front when you are working with darts. So I'm going to do this. Close your dart. And once you close your dart like this, then now I can literally go ahead and curve my line out where I want it to be. So as I stated, I wanted to stop at the end of the dart, or where the dart is for actually your right side of the garment. So I'm gonna dip this. So I'm gonna take it right here. Okay, and like that. Okay, just like that. And once you have that, remember you have the seam allowance here already, so you don't have to worry about that. You can add an extra for the seam allowance along this edge, and then you can just simply cut it like this. All right, make sure you cut it with the dart already taped or closed, so you won't have a problem there when you open the dart. I'm going to open it now. All right, so take the tape off and then you'll be fine. Okay, so take the tape off. So this is this pattern for this. Now what you need to do, you need the underpiece, and because you are working with the underpiece where it doesn't have since you have it that the dip like this, you're going to go straight to the side like that. You can use this pattern that you have here for the right side of the garment, and then what you would do for that one, if you have that pattern, you would place it on the right side of the garment. All right, so if you get that type of pattern there, all you have to do is just write that you're placing this side, because remember this one we dipped down, this one doesn't have the dip, so this is the under piece. This is the piece that is going to be placed on the right side. So you just write, this is the center front, times 1 fabric, all right, and place on right side of fabric, because this is the right side. All right, this now would be the what you would use for the under piece, this piece right here, and then you would just write place on the wrong side of the fabric. This would be placed on the wrong side of the fabric, and you're keeping the weight up to the waist like this. You're not dipping it asymmetric as this one. All right, so these are the pattern pieces. So you use something just like this to create it, because this has a dip here. This, if you notice, it doesn't add your seam, your waistband there. You have your waistband. Your waistband is whatever the measurement of the waist is, and I would extend each strap 22 to 25 inches on either side and here you just attach it here at the waist. So this would be, say, 25 inches for your strap there, and for the other waist part, just whatever the measurement is for the entire waist of the wrap skirt, both this front, and then the back, plus 25 inches is good. All right, so these are the two patterns that you use for that one. This one, for this, you place this on times 2 of the fabric. You don't need to do it 2 different pieces like this one. You have the back of the skirt too. This is times 2 on fold, times 2 fabric on fold, and you have this for the curved hem. You have that one, and you can use the same times 2 by fabric here for this piece. All right, so that's it for your 4 different types of wrap skirts. Go ahead, try them, and make yourself a wrap skirt, and I'll see you soon. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share with others so that they will gain a wealth of knowledge and create designs and wrap skirts and make garments of their own. Thank you. Bye. Ciao.